Hey everybody, this is Bo Sanders, and I want to talk to you about why I'm enjoying so much interactive online church. So at 9:30 in the morning, we have something called brainstorming. It's adult Sunday school. We covered various topics. And then at 10:30, we have an online worship gathering. Now, I know that most churches are doing either a recorded and then edited presentation where they broadcast what they've recorded earlier in the week, and that's fine. That works for some. And then others are doing sort of the normal performance that they would do in regular gatherings and then just putting that online, but it's not interactive. And I just have to say, we're one of the few churches that are interactive, that we still do the engagement. And yes, by the way, I did take a spill on my bike, so I am a little beat up this week, in case you're looking at my black eye and bloody lip. It's healing quite nicely, so thank you. But listen, this thing about being interactive, for me, I've always said, it's not a shtick, it's not a gimmick, it's not to try and get more people to come to church. In fact, I don't know that it will ever do that, but for us, it is the way that we engage not only each other and hear different perspectives, but that we engage topics deeply. For instance, this past week, we started into a series on the book of Acts. And in the passage that we read, there were two twists. The disciples asked Jesus, "Is this when you restore the kingdom?" And he says, "Not me, you." Actually, the twist is, I'm going to work through you. I'm on my way out, right, through the ascension, but I'm going to send the Holy Spirit. And with Holy Spirit power, you're actually going to be my witnesses. So that was quite a twist, an empowerment model. The second twist, though, was that, like a kid asking his parent to fix the car, and the parent says, "How about I give you my toolbox?" And you think, well, that's fine, but it doesn't solve the problem that I actually don't know how to fix the car. It doesn't get to the root of the problem, that I'm not equipped or empowered. And the twist was, but what if one of the tools was my knowledge? What if my very presence is one of the tools in the box? And that's what happens with Holy Spirit empowerment. That not only does God choose to work through us, the unqualified, in one sense, but the gift is of Holy Spirit presence, that the Spirit of Christ, literally the very Spirit of God, is at work in us and through us. So that would be fine as a standalone sermon. Like if I just presented that and people think, oh, that's cool, and then they think about it the rest of the day. What makes interactive church so good for me is not only at 9:30, I only provide probably 40 to 50, sometimes 60% of the material, but it's actually the dialogue, the discourse, where illustrations are provided and examples, stories from people's past, different traditions and histories that they bring to the table that really informs and makes all of us richer and well-fed through the interaction. That just wouldn't be the same if I either pre-recorded a presentation or if I just put a PowerPoint slide presentation up on the screen and walked everyone through it. It's the interaction that makes it so vibrant and so vital. The same happens at church, because at the end of our gatherings, there's always a time where I invite everyone to the table. And it's at that moment that you hear different perspectives. And invariably, it happened again last week. Some people said it was the first twist that really got them, that they look to God or some outside force to fix things. So to remember that it's actually, we're involved in that it's our partnership and our participation in that is how God works. So that was a good feedback from some. And then for others, it was the second twist, that I don't feel equipped and I don't know what to do and I don't have direction. I don't have the skills or the know-how. But by God's very presence, right, that Sophia, that wisdom from God, that knowledge, that we together do this. So it was in hearing those two layers of feedback, that it really brought everything to its fullness, that it brought full circle. Not just the presentation and the content, but actually the real lived experience of, oh yeah, we're involved in this. Yeah, it's not just about some transcendent beyond deity power. And also that we haven't been left alone for this task, that we have been given a gift, and that gift of Holy Spirit is life and power and wisdom. It's a grace that propels us forward into the world to be witnesses and ministers of God's love in the world. I love it. And to be quite honest, I could do the performance. We could pre-record it and splice it together and then broadcast it, or we could do it live. But it's the interaction with you all that makes my heart come alive and propels me into the week to think, well, what could we talk about this week? How could I bring out the best from my congregation and all of the wisdom and experience and insight that they bring into the table with their experiences? So I both want to thank you, but I also just wanted to reiterate, there's no judgment on churches that do it another way. It's fine. Whatever gets us through this difficult season. But for us, I am so happy, just beyond delighted that we have continued to be an interactive community and a conversational church, and it means the world to me. So I hope that you'll come and join. 9:30 is Sunday school brainstorming. 10:30 is online worship. Be well. I'll see you then.